I'll never forget the day I opened my inbox and saw his email. The subject line was clinical, cold, divorce effective immediately. I froze, staring at the words. My stomach turned. My mind refused to process. He had sent it while I was 7 months pregnant. 7 months. The time when most people imagine support, care, and shared excitement. Instead, I got a message that ended a marriage and a life we had built together. I opened our joint bank account out of habit later that day. My savings, my contributions, my earnings, it was all gone. Cleaned out. The balance read 0. I sat on the floor, phone and laptop beside me, shaking. How could someone do this? How could someone not just leave, but erase the future we had imagined? Anger came first, then fear, then a strange, icy calm. Because amidst the chaos, I realized something. Panic wouldn't help me. Crying wouldn't help me. I needed action. I contacted a lawyer immediately, explaining everything. The email, the emptied account, the pregnancy, every detail. She didn't flinch. She didn't question my instincts. She listened and acted. The first step was freezing any further access to the joint account. The second was filing an emergency injunction to secure my finances and protect my unborn child. Meanwhile, I reached out to my family and a close friend, not for pity, but for practical support. I needed someone to help with logistics, appointments, and emotional stability. I remember walking into my bedroom later that evening, exhausted, scared, and unsure of what the future held. I sat on the edge of the bed and placed my hands on my growing belly. I realized then that this wasn't just about me anymore. There was someone else depending on me, the little life inside me. I had 2 options. Succumb to despair, let fear control me, and let him dictate everything. Or act, protect myself and my child, rebuild from the chaos he had created. I chose to act. That night, I drafted a plan, legal steps, financial safety, medical care, and emotional boundaries. I wasn't going to let him dictate my story. For the first time, I felt the weight of responsibility and empowerment at the same time. Fear was there, yes, but it was tempered by determination. He may have emptied our joint account, may have abandoned me with nothing but words on a screen, may have thought he had won. But he had underestimated one thing. I was not powerless. I was pregnant, yes, but I was also prepared, resourceful, focused, and I intended to make sure that the life he tried to erase would not just survive, but thrive. By the end of that day, I wasn't just scared. I was ready. I had chosen, and I was going to fight for me and for my child. The next morning, I met with my lawyer. She laid out everything I needed to do: secure my finances, file for legal separation, and request child support immediately. She explained the process calmly, step by step. I listened, taking notes, feeling the first flicker of control in days. First, we froze the joint account. No further withdrawals could be made. Every transaction he had made was documented. The money was gone, but the record remained. That record would become evidence. Next, we filed the petition for divorce officially, but with a twist. I included the claim for financial protection, for security during my pregnancy, and for custody arrangements. He hadn't considered that my lawyer would anticipate his moves, that the law could protect me even when he thought he had left me vulnerable. I also reached out to my family, but not to beg. I needed a support system, someone to help me with prenatal appointments, to watch over me when the stress became too much, and to keep me grounded. They rallied instantly. My mother took on grocery runs. My sister helped organize the apartment. My father sorted the paperwork logistics. I had feared judgment, but instead, I found an unexpected alliance. Meanwhile, I kept meticulous records of everything. The emails he sent, messages he ignored, transactions he made. Every detail mattered. Every piece of evidence would tell the story of what he did and what he tried to take from me and my unborn child. I also began thinking long-term. He had tried to make me feel powerless by draining the account, but I realized wealth isn't just in money, it's in strategy, knowledge, and planning. I started transferring what little I had left into separate accounts, opening new accounts in my name alone, and even looking into insurance and emergency funds for the baby. I was building a fortress brick by brick. Emotionally, it wasn't easy. Some nights, I cried quietly, running my hands over my belly, whispering apologies to the child I hadn't yet met. But those moments didn't break me. They reminded me of my purpose. Every hardship, every betrayal, became fuel to protect my child, to ensure that no one, not even my husband, could dictate our future. One evening, my lawyer called with updates. She had obtained an injunction preventing him from accessing any remaining assets or property we shared. It was a small victory, but it shifted the power balance. He may have thought he could act with impunity, but suddenly his actions had legal consequences. I also began documenting my plan for the future: a safe apartment, savings for the baby, healthcare coverage, and a timeline for custody arrangements. I realized that life doesn't wait for crises to pass. You have to prepare, anticipate, and act decisively. Then came the psychological shift. He wanted me defeated, scared, dependent. Instead, I became organized, empowered, and aware of my rights. Fear existed, yes, but I had turned it into a tool. The fear of loss became the motivation to secure stability. When I felt ready, I confronted him via email, not to argue, not to beg, but to state clearly what he could no longer do. I detailed that all shared finances were frozen, all legal steps were in motion, and that I had legal backing to protect myself and my child. I ended the email with one sentence: "Your attempt to control us through fear has failed." He didn't reply. Weeks passed. My lawyer filed all documents, secured my finances, and confirmed that I had legal control over the next stages. Each step fortified my independence. Throughout this, I realized something critical. The email, the emptied account, the abandonment, they weren't the end of my story. They were the beginning, a test of my resilience, my resourcefulness, and my ability to protect what truly mattered. By the time the baby arrived, I was ready, not just physically, but emotionally and financially. I had turned a betrayal meant to break me into a challenge that strengthened me. He had thought I was powerless. I had proven otherwise. And my child would inherit that legacy, not of fear or loss, but of courage, planning, and the unwavering will to protect family at all costs. When the baby arrived, I held them in my arms and felt a surge of triumph. He had tried to erase us, but we existed stronger, safer, and unbroken. Every challenge, every betrayal became a lesson in resilience. I had protected our future, not with anger, but with strategy and determination. And in that moment, I realized no email, no account, no person could take away the life and love we had built together.